Hey, how's it going? Today I'm talking about Dopey Race Part 1, Your Missed Long Run.
This is Running to the Castle, a podcast for injury-prone RunDisney runners on a journey to running magical miles. Join me, Dr. Allie, as I share the secrets I've gathered as a runner, doctor of physical therapy, and coach. You'll learn the exact ways I get my clients to the castle strong without feeling broken or held together with KT tape as they cross the finish line.
Okay, please forgive me. I do have a cold while I'm recording this, and because I'm probably going to record all of these very soon, one after the other, like literally maybe today I'll be recording all, I don't know, I think there's going to be 6 of them. I may record these all today. Who knows? Because if I don't get it done now, when will I get it done? Because I want to make sure that these come out so that you are prepared for Dopey, for the race, fueling, carb loading, warm up, stretching, and post race so that you're ready. So please forgive me. I am a little congested. Royal and I traveled over the weekend. And we caught colds. It's not COVID, it's not flu A or B. We did take those at home tests and just a standard cold. And it is what it is. That is what winter season is like, isn't it? We do our best to prepare and make it so that we don't get sick. And sometimes it just doesn't happen. The kicker is we probably got sick at a doctor's office. And that happens. Anyway, so today I'm talking about for the Dopey race, what happens if you miss a long run? Now, I have talked about this in the past. I've talked about what to do. Like, do you make up a long run? Do you skip it? How do you handle that? This time I'm talking peak week long run. So if you follow one of my free training plans, you know that the peak week long run is 20 miles. Peak week is like the peak, like the top of a mountain kind of peak. That's what we're talking about. Peak week is the longest run of the training plan. So for marathon, goofy, dopey, that is a 20-mile long run. If you don't follow my free training plans, I have them for all of the runDisney races. dralliept.com. Go ahead and you can find the free training plans there. You can also look in the show notes. The link to the races will be there. Now, I will say, if you're listening to this soon before or after race week, the race that's on there is for Dopey Marathon Goofy 2026. If you're looking for the training plan for that race weekend 2027, those aren't up yet. Those will come up. I will put those up after the dates have been announced for Marathon Weekend 2027. I put the dates that you will do each of your runs in the training plan. So I need to know exactly which weekend the race is taking place. So I have a guess. There is typically a week. My gosh, I keep saying a race. This marathon weekend typically happens over a certain weekend in January, but things change. I want to make sure that it's out there on the correct weekend. So, my training plans go up to 20 miles. You may be thinking, that is way too low. I need to go at least 26.2 miles. Please check back to previous podcast episodes about why I recommend stopping at 20 miles. It really does work. You're stopping at about 70%, a little bit more than 70% of race distance, but you're going 30% slower. So it evens out and you end up going for the same amount of time. It works. Go ahead and listen to previous episodes where I talk about that. But this week, I am getting a lot of DMs, a lot of questions. What happens when I miss that 20 miler? Should I make it up? Should I do it later in the week? How should I do this? I'm getting this from Stronger, Faster Finisher clients. I'm getting this from runners who follow the free training plan. It is super common because, as you can hear with me, I am sick. So some other people out there, they're sick too and they can't get the 20-miler in, or weather has not allowed for it, or maybe injury or pain hasn't allowed for you to get that full 20 miles. What should you do? Skip it. Flat out, just skip it. Do not make it up. At this point, if you try to make up that 20-miler, it is more likely to add more risk for you, especially if you're skipping it because of illness or injury. Okay? So if you're sick, if you're ill, and you skipped the 20-miler because of that, skip it completely. Don't try and make it up. Don't try and finagle your running week to allow for all of those miles. I would rather you be a little bit undertrained, which even if you miss this 20-miler, you're not going to be. But I would still rather you be a little undertrained than overtrained. Okay? Same thing goes with if you skipped it because of a pain or an injury flare up. I would rather have you be a little undertrained than overtrained, because overtrained, you're more likely to get injured or keep flaring up, re-injuring, or cause a worse injury. Let's say you're having problems in your Achilles, as an example. If you skip the long run now, this weekend, because of Achilles pain, if you try and force through it later in the week, well, you may baby your Achilles and cause knee or IT band problems or hip problems or back problems. So now you'll have an Achilles problem and a hip, knee, or back problem. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, especially because remember, I talked about you're going a little bit more than 70% of race distance. So 70% of race distance for a marathon is 18.34 miles. So technically, if you've done at least that, you have fulfilled your training. Even if you haven't done that, again, I'd rather you be a little undertrained than overtrained. You hear me say follow the 10% rule to decrease your risk of injury. That 10% rule, I'm talking about that if you are doing it week after week after week. If you are adding more than 10% for 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row, 4, 5, 6 months in a row, you can do it one time. So even if going from wherever you just stopped at, let's say 16 miles, let's just for conversation's sake, say that you only made it to 16 miles, but you're doing Dopey or you're doing the marathon. Going from 16 to 26.2, that's very much more than 10%. But you're not doing that every week. You're going to do that one time. You're going to go from your max of 16 miles to 26.2 miles one time. You're not going to do 26.2 and then the following week do 28 and the following week do 30 and the following week do 32 and the following week and go on and on and on and on. You're going to do it one time and then you're going to recover for 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe you will continue on to train for Princess, but you're not adding on more mileage beyond that 26.2 because Princess max is 13.1 miles. Or maybe Disneyland. That might be a better example. Maybe you're going on to Dumbo. Well, that's still 13.1. So you're already above that mileage. So you would be tapering or doing fewer miles anyway. So you're not going beyond the 26.2. So it's okay if you couldn't get more than 16, couldn't get more than 17 or 18 or 19 miles. Stop where you're at and taper. I do recommend for the marathon, Goofy and Dopey, that you do have about 3 weeks of taper, give or take a couple of days. And give or take a couple of days or a week or so, depending on how seasoned of a runner you are. The majority of my runners are doing their first, second, or third marathon, but they're doing it differently, or they're slow back of the pack, or it's been 10 years since they did it before. So this is kind of like a new type of training. You're 10 years older, it's been 10 years since you ran this much. It's a different beast. This community here is not full of elite runners who are trying to get a sub 3-hour marathon. We're trying to finish without feeling broken. We're trying to do it fast enough so that we have character stops and that we can have a good buffer between us and the balloon ladies so we can at least actually enjoy the magic that's happening at Disney. We're not setting records here. Pace records, anyway. Right? So if you have missed the 20-mile long run, this is your permission to skip it completely. Don't worry about it. Go straight into taper where you're not doing any speed workouts. You're coming down on your strength workouts, meaning you're not lifting as heavy. Taper is all about preparing your body to maximize your energy now. We're not cramming in miles. We're not cramming in speed workouts. Let your body recover from the 6 months of training that you've been doing and prepare for race day by having enough energy. I have compared the taper in the past to a bow and arrow. You have 3 options with a bow and arrow, okay? You can try and force that arrow through the bow, right? Like we're not pulling it back, we're just shoving it through. The arrow falls flat. It doesn't go anywhere, right? That's what happens when we cram and try and add extra miles, extra speed workouts. That's us forcing that arrow through that bow. It doesn't go anywhere. We can pull that arrow back a little bit, add some tension before we let go. That is like we are giving ourselves a little bit of a taper. You know, maybe we're giving us a week or so, but we've still tried to push the speed workouts. We've still run up until that last week really far. So we're pulling back a little bit by giving ourselves about a week of taper, and it's going to have some energy in it, but it's still going to fall kind of flat. Or we can maximize how far that arrow can be pulled to store up that kinetic energy, right? This is basic physics. We have potential energy and we have kinetic energy. And I think I just said kinetic energy a minute ago. I meant potential energy. So if we pull that string and that pull that string and that arrow back to its maximum potential, give ourselves the 3 weeks of taper. Don't force extra miles. Don't force extra speed workouts. When we let go of that arrow on race day, we are going to have all of that energy built up and stored and ready to be used on race day. And our arrow or ourselves, we're going to fly far. Fly the farthest that we potentially can because we gave us that 3 weeks of taper. So this is your permission. Skip the 20-miler if you haven't done it yet and cruise on into taper. Please take what you've learned in this episode and use it to adjust your strategy for your Run Disney race training. It's not about doing more. It's about doing the right things in the right balance so you can finish strong, not broken. And if you want personalized guidance specific to your race, your injury history, your running background, and your goals, that's exactly what we do inside Stronger, Faster, Finisher. You'll get step-by-step instructions and a proven system to help you train smarter from start to finish. Join the waitlist today to be the first to know when it opens next. That's all for now. Talk to you soon.